Regard, this guy has already shown that he has been talented kahit nung early CSGO days pa lang niya. He's a LANimal. You bring him back to LAN, then he can show that he has a lot of talent despite him having that experience, right? Kasama din niya itong si Nexy tsaka si Draxy na magsa-supplement for Oasis Gaming.
Of course.
And for SR Nacague, again, back to the basics. Zin now on the Jet, where he has been showing that he can pop off either on the Jet or the Chamber. But you give him an operator, it makes no difference.
Yeah, mirror matchup here for the final squad. A fitting scenario for these two teams that are just at it for this match that has been giving it all. I think this is a very fitting concluder to our series na pareho silang nauubusan na ng playbook. They're gonna have to do so one more time until a victor emerges, because there's only one slot in the upper bracket final, and this is of course where it begins. Sino ang mananalo in the test of endurance here in Ascent, and of course sa Ascent pa, no? A perfect playground for both of our teams to duke it out para sa last spots against South-Built Esports. And man, oh man, I cannot wait to get into this game here, Dad Fem. Sa tingin mo, sino yung... Honestly, let's lay out some predictions dito. I've been asking you this the entire game, and I don't think I've asked you this on this last series. So let me pick your brain about this last game, given that we've seen how the first two maps went about. Sino sa tingin mo yung may edge coming into Ascent?
Oh man, I don't think we put out like solid prediction for this one. Kahit
Yeah, exactly.
off camera pa lang.
Yeah, exactly.
But we talked about like the strengths of each team comp. I want to pivot more towards like the Jet. Dito kay Zin, I believe na nag-pick up for SR Nacague. I mean, Zin has already shown that he can deliver in times like these, where if he is put on a winning position, then the operator of Zin will shut down yung aggressiveness ng ating Oasis Gaming, man. They have shown consistency ever since they have started with their new roster. But the firepower from SR Nacague, especially on a map where they're definitely most comfortable on as a unit, I might add, the Ascent map, where Senior Carl has shown to be one of the smartest RGLs. And for SR Nacague to play off of him, play off of his calls, play off of his timings, it will be a huge supplement, something that will add into the firepower that has already been established by SR Nacague. Oasis Gaming, though, they have a lot to work with ngayon, and this will be even closer, I might add, predict even para sa ating series to end it dito. And if we actually go into overtime, I'm not gonna be surprised. Hopefully not, though.
I honestly wouldn't be either, because man, it's just a very long series for these two teams already, and it's just so close between the two of them that overtime seems almost inevitable para dito sa ating final series of the day, and of course the final game of the day as well. And alam naman natin how things play out in Ascent, right? It is a map where a lot of these defaults come out, and it's also a map that is heavily dictated by the tempo of your team. And if we know one thing about Oasis Gaming, they love claiming that momentum. They love claiming that speed, that aggression for themselves. So yun yung para sa akin magiging biggest trendsetter for the game here on either side. If Oasis gets that speed going, I think they have it in the bag. But if they don't, if SR can stop that speed from the Oasis squad here, I think I have a pretty good shot. But either way, it's still a 50-50 for me. If I had to lay out the prediction, I'm sorry, I cannot give you an unbiased prediction dito sa matchup na to. But in Ascent, I think anything could happen, especially with just how online all of our players seemingly is. Yung mga scoreboard na nakita natin in the past two games, no, halos lahat sila dikit-dikit lang talaga yung kills. But apart from a couple of highlights, a couple of standout performances, everyone's just performing and absolutely loving it at this level of competition.
Takot ka lang magsabi sa mga fans ng kahit sinong team kung sino yung gusto mo manalo eh. Yun yung ano eh, yun yung parang nasa back of our minds when we make our predictions, right? The fact that you can make some people upset sometimes with what you want to say on broadcast, but you know, it's understandable. You do have a point na both of these squads, they have shown, well, at least for individual performances from Oasis Gaming before they became this roster, na they have comfortability on this map. You gotta look at Kevs, for example, na sinabi ko kanina, he knows all these lineups, he knows how to play the Ascent map, and he has shown to deliver every single time. But what about the high ceiling, high performance that Wild Oreo has put out sa stats pa lang niya? Nakasama niya ngayon si Javi 8K. Yung comfortability nag-mesh na agad. Yung synergy, parang ang tagal na nilang naglaro with each other. So it's hard to stop this train of Oasis Gaming, but that's on SR Nacague. That's on how they can stop this from ever having to go. And it starts with Oasis Gaming actually being on the attacking side.
Yeah. This is exactly where we started in that last game. And this is where Oasis started to assert their dominance against SR Nacague. Can they do the same? It's a very different start already because Oasis starting off with a pretty slow approach. This is not a look that SR Nacague is used to seeing from them. Tignan mo, it's already baited out a single rotation over towards a site because of a little bit of information. But because Oasis is not rushing, they have a lot of time to adjust and take advantage of that.
Maxi kasama nito. Yung Astra nandoon sa loob ng AP pa lang. Use that fragment and a lot of smokes to limit their movement and their vision. Some hesitation. Some definitely justified because Oasis, they're faced with a situation where they need to adapt, and the adaptation starts on the B site. With a crossfire sword set up, you got that chamber already on lane, but he, with a snap of a finger, he's already on backside. Oasis, they strike first blood, they find Maxi, but perfect timing for Patman and Senior Carl, who gets 2 kills on backside, all alone on his lonesome, but as he's buying time, he's still dealing damage as he finds Drax before he can come out of swinging. In a 1 versus 4, and Kevs, as the dust settles, the chaos just does not stop. As he also is found dead within his rights in a 1-0. SR Nacague striking first yet again.
Yeah, Senior Carl, when you put him at a position where he has to plant his feet down and hold the line against hordes and hordes of opposition, this is the result that you get. We got a preview of it in Pearl, but this time on a chamber, on an agent that allows him to do specifically that. That's when you know he is going to perform. And it shows a full display here in round number 1. Seemingly is gearing up for another opening pick here, waiting for the opportune moment to peek out as the 1v1 between the chambers about to commence. The Senior Call does not take a gander at it, and the shoulder peek is enough. Nexi goes down, and Senior Call again on the board.
They pull the trigger onto the A site this time around. Wild Oreo with a 2-tap, finding Zin, but Mid Matters did not let go of his left mouse button together with Maxi to cross off this aggressive push out of the A main position, but they did not have the guns and the resources to try to climb out of this deficit as a whole, despite Wild Oreo starting this aggression so well. The smoke out gave them this false sense of security, used them to their own advantage to climb out of the smoke, to surprise them with a lot of Spectre shots into the 2-0. SR Nacague, not only are they striking first, but they're striking hard.
Exactly. Hard and quick, for that matter. Zind with the hero investment here, looking to come up huge with the Vandal. Actually, it's trade of Prowlers here as Wild Oreo picks up Senior Carl from the backline in mid. Might potentially have opened up the middle side here, but Oasis not really becoming that full-on fast speed team, instead taking a step back, waiting for SR Nacague to make those mistakes. Seem to be paying off here. They already got 2 kills for basically free, and they're still not committed to either side. Now, they're swarming into B side, Advem.
You're lying. Just as you say that they're not committing to any side, you saw 5 people walking into B main, and Wild Oreo is the one to lead the charge as the NG fragger. To give it up. Patman, I mean, he's using his brain. He knows that he can contend against 5. He's relying on a lot of utility from Astra to at least buy some time and cover. before he can climb out swinging, but Wild Oreo has already made his presence known. They have the opportunity to plant the spike as well on the B side itself. They are already covered into the short range angles in NCG. They have a choice to either save up the 3 guns that they have or to demonstrate how these Vandals work against them. Into the 45 seconds because Oasis Gaming has planted the spike mid-matters, trying to lurk on through with the Sheriff, but that's how he can perform this one tap onto Nexi. The blind is out, but it blinds mid-matters as well as Nexi, but it doesn't matter as Wild Oreo and Javi 8K, they shut down the 2 players of SR Nacague, and even the third, a flawless victory presented to you by Globe at Home to gain a win for Oasis Gaming.
Imprinting themselves on the board as clean as it could get here, Oasis. I was actually surprised their dad fem that SR Nacague still went in for the push, despite already committing to a certain amount of time on that post plan. So when they did go for the challenge, it felt a little bit awkward for them already. So Oasis just took advantage of it, got themselves a free or a flawless win at that. 1-2 is just scoreline here. Nobody gearing up for any sort of momentum, unlike last time, or rather, unlike in previous games where either side has secured these round 3 wins. At this Ascent map, it's still anyone's. It's still pretty standard game so far, right? I mean, Oasis, this is the round where they have the full investment. So same is true for SR Nacague. The showstopper is up for Wild Oreo. They can most definitely push up here with a lot of haste, but the knife not gonna let him for the moment.
And that's the door closing on Wild Oreo. Before he can have an opportunity to even use that showstopper, he gets disabled. Or he can have a chance to pop that rocket into the A site itself. But as they're trying to buy some time for Oasis Gaming, Nexi is lurking in the shadows, trying to make himself known into the mid side, already making presence as Senior Carl. He's the one who's being cautious of his movement. The showstopper is out as SR Nacague, they try to fight back against the aggressive push of Wild Oreo and Oasis Gaming. They set their mark, they find the pick on one of the players of SR Nacague, but in return, they get 2 picks off. They got the spike plant, they got the objective, but at what cost? SR Nacague, they fight for retake scenarios. As Maxi, he gets the find on Wild Oreo, a double out from the KO. And with the initiators popping off into this round, SR Nacague, they get a 3rd round right after the bonus of Oasis. It's like it never even happened.
Yeah, looking to make quick work of Oasis in this first half. The retakes has just been on point here for Nacague. And even before the fact, even at this mid-site take here from Oasis, the angles seem to make their way for Nacague to get themselves into and get an opening pick before they fall down. So all things working out here in conjunction with just the consistency of the performance of the players of Nacague is paving the way for them to get this early momentum going. However, we have seen this before. We have seen this type of.
We have seen this before.
Okay, you put me in the spot. I did kind of read his name and incorporated it into my words. But yeah, we have seen this before. Nacague getting the upper hand early on, only for Oasis to swipe it right back, only to be swept up back again. Swept back up again by SR Nacague. Pero still too early to say kung sino ba ang nangunguna sa ating race to victory dito.
Nako. Kung hindi mo pa nakikita, Daydom, they have seen their chances to win. If ever that they do keep their investments, right? That was one of the buy rounds for Oasis Gaming. Forced themselves to play this half buy. This time around, actually it's a force. Even use the light shields to have themselves access for this Vandal up and ready for a few of the players for Oasis Gaming. So what's the option? Maybe play for the default, play a little bit more slowly, or they can contest fast and aggressively. Wild Oreo, he's on the back foot ngayon, letting every single member of Oasis Gaming do their work for him. Since it's a default setup, they got that presence made onto mid habang naghihintay sa flank. Itong si Nexi. Camsy is ready and waiting for the nightfall to happen. That pop of the knife, it even suppresses the suppresses itong si Kevs before he can use that Nightfall. So it's kind of delaying yung pag-push ng SR Nacague, pero at least it tries to delay the inevitable. Isa pa lang yung nakikita nila, baka lurk ang akala nila dito for Oasis.
Yeah. And barely any movement from at all from Nakage for the moment, so not any trouble being faced for them as of the moment. Yun na. Ito yung bait talaga, yung pagsira doon sa trademark towards the middle side as Oreo presses on in middle side. Hindi handa si Maxi for that peak, but Patman is good for the double Drax for the trade as well. And Oasis down to 3. Nakage can res up their teammate, but Oasis swarming that site for the moment. Mathers refused to go down, but Drax is just too big of an adversary. Nakage, the 2v3 time slowly taking away for Oasis. And dito na si Zin inside the site. They can plant. Drax is getting pressured. 9 seconds left, but Maxi cannot get the kills in. Oasis back on the board, 2-3.
Tamang timing lang. Paglabas dito sa 3, paglabas ng aggression ng Oasis Gaming. They're able to fight on the back foot this time around. The wrap around towards mid Matters, who only had the Guardian para makontrol yung A side. Draxi was just on fire, on point with the shots, isolating the picks onto SR Nakage. So they were scrambled, even though they had that presence known. Doon pa lang sa mid-bottom where Nexi destroyed the trademark, they were unfazed, they were uncowered even, to know that the initial push was happening on the A side. Just cannot contest against that awareness. So Oasis Gaming, they have to be careful this time around. SR Nakage, they could have something in the bag. Despite this being an eco buy, they can surprise them. They push them away into the tree area, forcing them to play outside of the site itself. 2 kills definitely in favor of SR Nakage, with Draxi, the only man who has the rifle, does find the kill onto Cinder Carl, forcing a 3 versus 4.
Retake again, percentage towards the hands of SR Nakage, but a huge deficit for them this time around in terms of guns. But Sind still gets that pick off before dashing on to safety. Drax shuts down Patman. It's going to be a full-on fight from here on out. 2v2. Oh, the numbers game just still not working out for Nakage as Drax with the port K wins the war of attrition for Oasis, and again equalize against
A tug of war. We're not playing Valorant, they're all pulling one rope. And it's either going side to side. This time, it's on the favor of Oasis Gaming, but it's still a stalemate. Ironic as it sounds, they equalize up against the players of SR Nakage, but beautiful fragging from Draxi. He knew that he needed to focus on himself right after they already got the plant anyway. Just giving himself that bit of confidence to keep up with the players of SR Nakage. That firepower is there, but the direction is definitely in favor of Oasis Gaming. You can see it in their mid-round calling, how they're able to isolate each angle, what to look at, what to set up for. The retake, where is it coming from? The heaven side, let's flash it. The tree side, let's put all of our smokes in one basket. Where SR Nakage, they're limited. They're forced to do something, and it becomes a bad decision right after the fact.
Gonna keep their composure. Tour de force active here for Senior Carl. Zin not getting spotted out yet, but fair bit of utility getting thrown at his face.
At this point in the game,
It's the pleasure doll of your horror movies. It's the kind that holds a handgun to your head. If I had to put it in words. It is what it is. That's for Nakage though. And the point is, they're shooting back. They're fighting back with everything they've got. They've had a fair bit of success here against Oasis Gaming. But again, it's just the swing of pendulums here. It's the swing of it's the strike back, the consistent answers mula dito sa SR Nakage at Oasis na, let's face it, kanina pa dito just nagbabalik-balikan yung advantage to. The Oasis Gaming, it seems like they found their rhythm for the most part, and I feels as though it's off the back of the consistency from Javi 8K to make these plays. Pero ito na naman, are they gonna go for another bait here? It seems like not. Nightfall committed on top of the Cosmic Divide. That's a lot of utility getting pumped here. Or Arya though not aggressing as quick as he could. Senior Carl and Patman holding the line single-handedly, fortifying that B site as they mow down the players of Oasis. Headhunter takes care of Senior Carl, but Zin with the blades. And just like that, we end the first half like we did the entire series at an even deadlock.
Another 6-6 end to the story of SR Nacague versus Oasis Gaming. That can be as close as it can get. The initial timing towards that stair push botched up by the chamber. It just was not deep enough for the players of Oasis Gaming. They could have had that chance to entry on down as cleaner as they could, but the response using the utility, as well as Patman, how he counter-strafes out of cover into the action to tap strafe while he was trying to deal some more damage on through. And they did not have the attention set up on the right place, man. That boathouse is looking as deadly as ever. It's like walking into a factory that can kill you. And they were all dead. A 6-6 to start things strong for both sides. A tug of war that doesn't seem like it finishes on one half. Will end on the other eventually at one point.
Unless something breaks here. Unless Wild Oreo is good for something. No, he's not. Zind shuts him down. Senior Carl dips as well. Zind forced to dash on away, but he still dips for the second kill. Drax goes down. Oasis denied off that mid control. And suddenly it's looking like another twist around here for Nacague. Nexi looking to scratch that statement. Thankfully, Nacague deals with Nexi. And it's all down to Kevs here, Dad.
There's no timing. He could have actually been caught before he can get to heaven alive. Now they're dealing the damage here to Oasis Gaming. The aggressive take over to Catwalk, already punishing them, leaving Kevs all alone. They even use that 1 star to deal a bit more problems into Kevs in a 1v3. He gets one, that first, the second for Kevs, and a little bit of clutch sprinkled on down. They don't even have access to that star. The dig and the triple kill. He has no time, unfortunately. It was a miraculous play coming out from the Lanimal himself. But he was already dealt a bad hand before he could react to this. He got the 3 kills, but it just wasn't enough.
It was not. But oh boy, was it glorious. Kevzy with the 3K, dealing with his adversaries one by one. But NCG, they knew that all they had to do was buy time. Look at that shot! Mid-Mathers pulling out the fancy movement, but it barely was enough. Nacague, again by the skin of their teeth, barely winning that round as Oasis forced for the second round eco. Oh, okay. How did he expect Senior Carl to be up there? I have no clue.
I think he trusted that he would do the same thing anyway. He knows that I do that. I probably will check up there.
Yeah,
it wasn't a flick. He actually
was expecting
navigated that crosshair.
Yeah.
Just as calm as he can be. He saw 3 people, but he only wanted the guy on top.
Exactly.
Understandably so. Rewarded with the first blood. He gets himself back to safety and into the B-side defense where he doesn't have that upgrade. So this is still a very difficult task, but at least they get 1 member down. That's an easier time to deal with SR Nacague.
Without the weaponry advantage, though, it's not as easy as it sounds. Especially with Zen still on this Vandal, unless they get to pick off this Vandal specifically. Marshall, abound. Here comes the execute. 35 seconds left on the timer, so they have no other choice but to commit to this B site. With 1 member still involved, easily dispatched by Zen. That's the site, wide open. Paradise supposed to plant. Oasis giving them a fair bit of trouble despite being the eco.
Alright. Bit of trouble, difficulty to even get themselves back into the game. Oasis Gaming dealt with 4 people only having classics, but at least SR Nacague, they're pinched. They have nowhere else to go. They're sitting like ducks, and Draxi, he has the damage, he got the double dink, but it does not matter. As Oasis, they do not have the best weaponry to contend against SR Nacague. They have 2 or 3 casualties, but it's not enough to steal away the round. What's most important is that they got that push from stairs. No resistance, no contact push. And there was nothing to try to stop them from ever taking this B side at all. And it's understandable since they only had classics in the first place. They needed to stack one site, but at 50-50 coin toss, it flipped on tails and it flipped on its head towards Oasis.
Yeah. Now, it's gonna have to work double time here, Vandal, or Zin's Vandal for that, just to make it a little bit more possible for Nacague to press on this 2-round lead to a bigger one. The Oasis seem to be ready with the double swing, should it even happen here from Zind. All prepared for this push that seemingly is a in the works here for SR Nacague. But look at where the spike is. This could be a potential bait here that could bait out the rotations from Oasis Gaming. But no, they pull the spike a little bit closer towards middle. That's very, very risky here for SR Nacague. If that spike gets caught out in the open, that could signal the end of the round here for round number 3 for SR Nacague. But they still pressing on here in mid. Flash comes out, Maxi gets forced away down from the catwalk area into the cubby. He's pushing, he comes in, pushing in with the beautiful flash. The coordination is just so beautiful. Are they going to commit to market here? The rotations are now coming in from Oasis. They're running out of time here, Dad, and they have to press forward. But look at this meat grinder all the way just outside of market. Nexi with a Vandal. And it seems like SR Nacague has been put at a dead stop here, just inside of market. They can't even go out. The ASUS smokes are gonna buy them up a little bit of space. Both houses clear for the moment, but once the smokes dissipate, Maxi has got no choice but to fight, and fight he will to his demise. Oasis strike back 7-8.
They definitely fought valiantly, but unfortunately, they dealt with a very bad situation. They were tucked into that mid-market entrance. They could not come out of it. All 5 members alive because of the setup that they had. They had the Fade to deal pressure before they can come out of that opening. They had no pressure into that CT spawn anyway.
Yeah.
So they got a mini crossfire of sorts to deal with whoever comes out of that mid-market area. So a good defense. They placed themselves into the 8-7. And they can try to climb back against SR Nacague, who, let's be real, it's still doable at this point for Oasis. Could have this mid push into fruition. The push out and have the 8K Nexi together with him. They have started off so well into the 2-for-1. Despite them losing Javi 8K, they dealt the damage. And this could be enough to slow things down for SR Nacague.
Double swing coming out of Oasis down into mid. We established that mid control that SR Nacague has been such a huge fan of getting. It seems like they're looking undeterred despite being at a 3v4 and losing so much just to try and get this mid control. But that's what? Spike! Maxi goes down in the back line because they didn't have the manpower. They couldn't cover every angle, which left Maxi fending off for himself. There's still so many angles to watch out for here. Mid top is not clear, but NCG, they're taking that risk. They're pushing all the way down into the defender side. Spawn. Spike in the hands here of Senior Carl going all the way down into market by himself. But it's another crossfire setup. Wild Oreo has got 2 angles to watch out for. Senior Carl has to get this kill, and he does. Running himself into the site. Spike goes down here. 2v3.
Well, now he gives himself a chance. Now this becomes doable. This becomes possible for SR Nacague. He's deaf, but he knows that they're running at him here.
Batman.
Like dogs. Showing up with that Nightfall. And Patman, he just does not have to worry about his flank as they're all focused onto the B side itself, but he gives himself a chance. Now he knows that 2 of them, they're coming back into B main. It's an opportunity for him to flank around, but they're pushing in too far. He's pushing into Senior Carl, the only man on both tasks. But Patman, he's already cashing out his late insurance policy and cutting off before they can bid off more. A 9-7 with Patman saving it for SR Nacague, helping out Senior Carl before he falls, getting a double kill as well. They're both independent, and you can see that here.
I I love the decision making there from Batman. His Nightfall only hit one of the 2 players from Oasis, so he decides to create a little bit more space by taking control of mid and market once more despite not knowing whether it's clear or not. That risk that he took completely paid off because Oasis was caught completely off guard. Nacague, they won the round off that single decision from Batman and of course the Nightfall. But now, it's Nexi to open things up with an opener. With a frag, that is. With a tour de force headshot, too. Talk about overkill as Maxi shuts down Javi, so back to the even game we go, but can't say the same for guns. Oasis have barely gotten eco here.
At least they found one of these players for SR Nacague, though.
Yeah.
Drax, he has been invested into this position, and it's unknown to SR Nacague so far. Playing around it with Maxi, the bait and switch with the long angle set up by the tour de force, and they know that it's coming, and they even disable him. They got the Nexi and Draxi connection with 2 picks. That's the left and right. The hooks set up by Oasis Gaming, but they bring Maxi back to life. It's at the cost of Draxi's life. A huge pick. That's the controller for Oasis Gaming. They can just rotate onto B, where it's just safe. It's open for business. And SR Nacague can set up shop, but that is if they're not stopped at all by Kevs. Already set up the angle. The one tap onto Batman. Slowly walking back up onto the B side. Nexi, a right shot. The timing was perfect. And now falling onto Maxi. But the one tap yet again. The 50 win for Kevs. The savior of Oasis Gaming. Extending the game 9-8 against SR Nacague.
Getting a little bit careless here. Not clearing the corner. Bite them back in the butt earlier. Nexi, with just a classic, provided an impact frag and a half there. Almost completely stops Nacague in their tracks. But you gotta remember, Oasis barely had any investment going into that round. That's got to destroy the momentum here for Nacague and their mental. They have to keep composure after that round. Can't say the same for their eco. They've got no choice in this regard. Only the Sheriffs this time, as Oasis have turned the bank around for both themselves and Nacague. And could put themselves in a pretty favorable spot to again equalize the scoreline here, Dadfeb.
Slow push back into the mid. As Batman, he now walks into territory with Wild Oreo trading off immediately a 1-for-1. After first blood, Batman, he's not done, but he is gone. Because Javi 8K, he's the stand-alone guard onto the CT spawn, but Draxi, now he waits patiently. There you go. Damage dealt onto mid matters. Don't have a lot of utility to work at this time around. Senior Carl relying on himself as Nexi. He will find Maxi all left up to the captain. Who better to rely on than the champion himself? He does get spotted out by Nexi though. It's a shutdown immediately, a 9-9 with just that operator to boot. It's just enough to deal that damage over to Oasis, man. SR had no business winning this round with the eco, but they have already equalized Datum this one.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Oasis, if you're an Oasis fan, it's definitely a good thing. But the fact of the matter is that, Femina, 9-9 pa rin yung score natin dito. The possibility of an overtime happening grows over time here. I would not have had it any other way. Absolutely love both teams here going at their throats with everything that they've got, quite literally so. It's very rare that you see this type of matchup where both teams are pushed to their absolute limit. And here it begins once more. Nexi picking off Senior Carl. But is that where it ends for Oasis? Can they find another pick with the op? It seems like he's got another prey in his sights here for Nexi. Cornered in that area is mid Mathers, but I don't think Nexi knows. So if Mathers swings out right now, he could potentially get the punish, but chooses to play the safe route. Javi though, the moment he swings out, this is just so much tension here.
Crossfire.
But the crossfire is so beautiful. Do they have enough space for the spike plant? Yes, they do. But Drax, he hears this, but he can't get the shots quite off. He goes down.
They give away the sight, the cosmic divide, giving us safe space for the plant to come down, and it's so open. It's a favorable spot for SR Nacague, but they try their damnedest. Wild Oreo, the shot, the showstopper. It's not connecting as Maxi and Patman, they get the picks to force that 1v3 with Nexi, the operator, the showstopper. Every single ultimate being signed off by Oasis Gaming, but it's just not enough. All falling down to saving that op for Nexi and SR Nacague. They took it as slow as they needed. And eventually, despite that opening pick from Nexi, the tempo was just too good for SR Nacague to strike into the hearts of Oasis Gaming. Clever usage of that Cosmic Divide as well, forcing a timeout into the defender side.
Yeah. Forcing out the double digits from their side as well. This is where it started to fall
Imagine if he
apart.
knifed him, man. He had his back turned.
Yeah, exactly. Really rough round there for Oasis. Calling for the timeout here. Nacague feeling pretty good about that round, of course. Well, all things considered, Oasis, their eco still is not as bad as it could be. They did save up the operator from that last round. But Nacague on the double digits now. It's our matchup, our day is coming at a close here, and the tensions cannot get higher than Feminas. And nowhere else. Only in VxV. Nowhere else.
Only in VxV.
Yeah.
No, only in VxV, diba?
Uh-huh.
Top tier Valorant like this.
Yes.
High level PH esports displayed dito sa Mineski VxV. Give opportunities to people who want to step up against the best of the best. SR Nacague performing against Oasis Gaming, regarded as one of the highest performing teams dito sa league natin.
Yeah.
Pero ngayon, stepping up to the plate, the top of the food chain, SR Nacague, they were struggling to get into Tier 1 relevancy. But Nexi, at least, he's safe, but not for Draxi. He gets popped off immediately by Zind. There you go, the push out immediately by the Jet. A double kill by SR Nacague. They have control of A. They're not defaulting any longer. They want the A site and they want it now. A double for Mid Matters. It's now falling down to Kevs.
No resistance at all from Oasis. And Kev's the only one with a gun. And the only man left standing to deny this flawless, or perhaps take a gander at a clutch here. But Jin is so close. He's just around the corner. Gets the swing, but doesn't get any kills. It's the Globe at home flawless. Once more for SR Nacague. They're one step away from securing match point here. That Fem. The way they secured this round is as straightforward as it could get. Gravity well to get that kill. And then Zin just marched up into sight, got the kill, opened it up. Nexi unable to punish him. That's it. As simple as it could get there for Nacague, taking it by brute force. Seems like the key for them.
It's the 0 point that influenced. Remember, if KO didn't exist at all in this game, that would have been a different story.
True.
Nexi would have still been there for Draxi. But unfortunately, forced out of his hand, Zind, and now he's popping off, but his head gets blown clean off, as well as Patman, because of the one taps. The Sheriff's doing a lot of damage. And Oasis Gaming, they have forced SR Nacague in a very uncomfortable spot into lane. Now they push on down, 5 HP, down to 0. Kevs dealt his hand, a double kill for Senior Carl. But Oasis Gaming, they're keeping this close. They all know that they're stuck inside B anyway. So they focus all their energy there. Nexi trying to be the annoyance, trying to make his presence known. But they're scrambling everybody inside of B. But Nexi with a snap of a finger, he falls against Senior Carl, Maxi as well.
What's happening?
It's all up to the Astra. And how will Mid Matters perform this? He climbs out of that Cosmic Divide, sprays it onto Draxi, but Nexi's defusing the spike and giving away the round, stealing the guns and stealing the win away from SR Nacague. That's Oasis Gaming taking their mark again.
With a Globe at home, Thrifty Oasis is just gonna punish Nacague basically from scratch, from nothing. Barely any guns to work with. You said it yourself, the guns that they used for this retake is taken straight from the hands of the Nacague members. It's daylight robbery here. They rob him off match points. Kage, back to the drawing board they go. And there's no comfortable lead that can be garnered on either side here. But there is a lead. That's a 1-point advantage right now for Nacague. All I have to do to press on is just this one round. It's already match point. And Oasis are gonna be forced to play against the show here, the possibility of going into lower bracket. Nacague, a lot of mid presence. Nexi with an op though shuts down Batman. It's the start of the cascade of events going in favor of Oasis for now. And can they keep it up? Nacague, still a lot of fight left in them. Can they pull it out this time? This is their last opportunity to do so. And see here, Carl shuts down Nexi. The battle of the ops won by the IGL. And Mid Mathers presses on as well. Maxi for the trade. And suddenly it's a 2v2.
This is so close. They're rushing on down while Oreo, he pops off, he tries to get the headshot, and now it's leaving all up to Maxi, but Kevs is at the right place at the right time, holding Wild Oreo's hand and stealing the 11th round, starting it off with a double operator shot from Nexi from the mid side itself to save this round away. While it was starting so slow for SR Nacague, proving to be the demise. As Oasis, they take advantage of this. The double stack over towards that H3 side. And eventually the payoff, as Wild Oreo was the one who bounces into that tree area. Late as ever, but the timing could not have been any perfect for Oasis Gaming to step it all up to equalize against SR Nacague yet again. Another stalemate.
Exactly.
But this time, one of the players of SR Nacague only has a stinger, so that's the only thing that he has to work with here.
Pressing on though, using that advantage of the dash to try and get the gap closer. But Wild Oreo, a fortress here in Market. You can't get into here. This is my place. But the spike way out in the open, the Nightfall just revealing everyone's positions, and SR Nacague get picked apart, torn apart by Oasis. Mid Mathers watching at a safe distance, but not for long. Now he's faced with an unsurmountable task, an operator and 2 stragglers to deal with. And it cannot get any tougher than this. Stakes cannot get any higher too. Oh, Mid Mathers has to pull out a rabbit out of the magical hat here. And they know exactly where he's going to come from too. Look at the positions from Oasis. They know the possibilities of where Mid Mathers can come from. And look at the beak! Shuts him down. Oasis busts out the match point against
match point. We saw the beginning.
They got the perfect shot. And it started with that previous round too. Where Nexi, you give him the op. He's dealing damage. This mid-market position, again, the same spot where SR Nacague were looking at possible hurdles they cannot overcome. They were just pinched. They had nowhere else to go. Into the operator crosshairs of Nexi. And somewhere in there, SR Nacague had to feel like they're absolutely pressurized. All of this hard work could be thrown away if they give away this next round, but man, you know that they don't want to do that. SR Nacague pushing on down. They know the default spot of where that tripwire is. They eliminate that only sing of utility from the chamber. He can still push on. They got that pain shell, and it's a lot of damage onto Patman. He has to run away. Zin, he eats that Prowler full on as the showstopper. He's gonna find Patman, punishing him for his mistake. And NCG, the choice is made. The spike is all the way over to B lobby. And a lot of eyes set on A3 itself. A dangerous situation. A bad hand dealt already into the first round, but oh my! Just as it becomes bad to worse, Javi 8K with another shot of the operator. A flick from Nexi to end it all off. A flawless victory for Oasis Gaming as they close it out with a reverse sweep against SR Nacague, a backbreaker dealt into the lower bracket.
Such a contrast to the rest of the series. Oasis turned things around as cleanly and seemingly as easily as it could look like in that final round, in the final moments of that round, of this game. Whew. What a conclusion to this epic tale between SR Nacague and Oasis Gaming. Both teams pushed to the absolute limits, but at the end of the day, it's Oasis Gaming to come out on top, and decisively so, in that last round. But man, that was such a valiant effort. It was so close. So close.
That was a
between these two
journey.
teams.
That was a journey. If you wanted to see top tier Valorant, everybody should see this series again. You come back to Oasis Gaming versus SR Nacague and you see two of the most passionate teams